To begin with, we're going to talk about plant taxonomy, classification, and nomenclature. And we're comparing botany versus horticulture. Horticulture is the art or practice of garden cultivation and management. This includes food and ornamental plant material. Horticulture is Latin. Hortus means garden. Colere means to cultivate. Botany is the study of plants, including their structure, properties, plant taxonomy, and biochemical processes. Taxonomy is the branch of science dealing with description, identification, nomenclature, and classification of organisms. So taxonomic evidence in the past really has relied mostly on external appearance, that's morphology. It could also include internal structure, anatomy, ecology, cell structure and components, chemical components, and finally, more often than not at this point, is relying on DNA. Classification is developing using a system for categorizing things such as plants, etc. You can see here we've got our mosses, which are non-vascular, and then vascular plants have vascular systems, and that's broken down even further with seedless plants versus seeded plants, etc. So there's a hierarchy of relationships. Each level is a rank. The members of each category are called taxa. Family is the rank. Rosaceae is the taxon. Theophrastus was a Greek philosopher and naturalist and is often called the father of botany. He was a pupil of Aristotle. He was the first person to publish a classification of plants, and he classified plants based on form. So there's that morphology. Carl Linnaeus was really responsible for developing what we know now as botanical nomenclature. We still use it today. And this was classified according to shared similarities. He classified 12,000 plants and animals. Unfortunately, Linnaeus was also involved in classifying humans and was involved with the origins of scientific racism. I actually posted an article on this in the module if you want to read further. There's a lot more information out there about this. Anyway, it's kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. And for our purposes as horticulturists, we tend to lean on the family, genus, and species. Okay, it's governed by the International Code of Nomenclature for algae, fungi, and plants. Latin binomials consist of a genus and specific epithet. In this case, Acer palmatum is an example of that. Latin names are italicized or underlined. Keep this in mind when you're writing out your quiz answers on your ID classes, those of you taking ID. Genus is a noun and is capitalized. And you can see here it's either italicized or underlined. Specific epithets are nouns or adjectives in lowercase. Palmatum is the specific epithet here. And binomials are followed by an author citation you'll see quite often. So Acer palmatum was classified by Linnaeus. Infraspecific names are the scientific names of any taxon below the rank of a species. There's three categories. There's subspecies. In this case, major morphological variations of a species are usually associated with geographic distributions. Variety is a variant of a species, often lesser magnitude than subspecies, and sometimes has a geographic distinctness. Form is a trivial variation occurring among individuals of any population. So binomial nomenclature. It's a formal naming system, two parts. First, genus, second, specific epithet. Genus plus the specific epithet is the species. Keep this in mind in any future quizzes we do. And then names are Latin or Latinized. So here's the plant classification. Again, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. And as I mentioned, we're going to rely mostly in horticulture on the family, genus, and species. Phylum, there are over 250,000 species. All plants are included in the kingdom Plantae. Smaller and smaller divisions based on several characteristics include how they produce by spores or different kinds of seeds, their size or stature. Phylum, plants are divided into this category based on whether or not the plant bears or produces seeds. And then there's vascular and non-vascular plants. Class include plants that are divided into two types of classes. The angiosperms, these are plants that produce flowers. Gymnosperms, plants that don't produce flowers. So subclass is dicotyledons. These are plants with 2 seed leaves. And monocotyledons, which are plants with 1 seed leaf. Order is a group of related plant families. These are classified in an order in which they are thought to have developed their differences from a common ancestor. It could be vegetative structures, reproductive structures. Names of orders end in ALES. Family. This includes genera. This is the singular, and the singular is genus. They often resemble one another in certain broad characteristics, usually having to do with the flowers, but now often determined by DNA sequencing. The family usually consists of numerous genera, though some only consist of 1, and this changes often. The family name usually ends with ACEAE. Example, Rosaceae is the rose family. So in Rosaceae, it's usually grouped by similar flowers. Rose family plants have 5 petals or multiples of 5 and many stamen. Genus is the next level of plants that share similar characteristics. It's more precise than family. Genus for laurels, plums, cherries, etc. is Prunus. Always capitalized and italicized or underlined. Species. The species name consists of the genus and the specific epithet. The specific epithet is a noun or adjective that follows the genus. It often describes the plant, but not always. It's lowercase, italicized, and underlined. So Acer macrophyllum is big leaf maple. Macro is big, phylum is leaf. So there you have a very descriptive specific epithet. So here's the hierarchy. We've got our kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species, and then common name. And common names are the least efficient way to name plants because every area has different common names for plants. So using scientific nomenclature is much more definitive. Subspecies, this is a particular group within a species that is branched off, usually due to geographic isolation, abbreviated either SSP or SUBSP. The subspecies name is lowercase, italicized, or underlined, and it's preceded by these abbreviations which are not italicized. And here we have Acer tetaricum subspecies Janella, which is our Amer maple. Variety is a population of plants that display marked differences in nature. Differences are transmitted by seeds and more or less recognizable entities within a species not genetically isolated from each other. Variety is abbreviated VAR, and it's written in lowercase, italicized or underlined, preceded by the abbreviation VAR. And here we have Sarcococa hookeriana variety humilis, which is on our plant list this fall. Forma or form describes sporadic variations. For example, white-flowered plant with a normally purple flower species, also italicized or underlined after the abbreviation F. We don't see this a lot on our plant list, but in this case we've got the pink flowering dogwood, which is Cornus florida forma rubra. Cultivar is selected or a particular attribute or combination of attributes, clearly distinct, uniform, and stable. They retain characteristics when propagated asexually. They will not come true from seed. Cultivar names are capitalized with single quotes. So here we have Ulmus Glabra camperdownii, or camperdown elm. Clones are a group of plants that are identical to their one parent, and they can only be propagated asexually. So that's Pyrus communis Bartlett, Malus domestica red delicious. These are reproduced by cuttings, layering, division, budding, and grafting. So interspecific hybrids, there's two types of hybrids, occur when two different species cross, and there's a lowercase x before the specific epithet. This plant is on our plant list. This is Osmanthus x Brookwoodii, which is a hybrid of Osmanthus delavii and Osmanthus decorus. Intergeneric hybrids, very less common, occur when two plants from different genera are crossed. There's an uppercase X in the front of the genus. In this case, this is on our plant list. X Faschetera lizii, this is a cross between Fascia japonica and Hetera helix. Trademarks are legalized brand name labels owned by the corporate entities. There's no relationship to plant classification or nomenclature, and those trademark names are not fixed to the plant by any specific scientific standard. So dichotomous keys are used to identify plants. You answer a series of questions about the characteristics you are trying to identify, and it's basically a process of elimination. So this is what that looks like. Needle leaves versus non-needle leaves. If you pick non-needle leaves, you go to 3, and it's either simple leaves or compound leaves, etc., etc., etc. So I mentioned this earlier, gymnosperms are non-flowering. The seeds are exposed in open structures such as cones and leaves. Gymno means naked, sperm means seed. They contain true roots, stems, and leaves, and the examples here are conifers, cycads, and ginkgo. Angiosperms are newer to classification. Those are flowering plants, and these are flowers are a group of modified leaves used for sexual reproduction. Seeds are found within the within the fruit. Contains true root, stems, and leaves. Examples: rose, lily, oak, maple, pecan grass. So here's a conifer on the left, a cycad on the right, and ginkgo biloba, although it looks like it could be an angiosperm, the seed coat is fleshy. And here's a classic angiosperm, a tomato. The seeds are found within the fruit.